Biden unveils $1.75 T Build Back Better framework. Joe Biden unveiled the final framework of his Build Back Better agenda and continued to claim the bill would cost American taxpayers nothing. Over the next 10 years, it will not add to the deficit at all, he claimed. It will actually reduce the deficit. Biden detailed the compromise deal at the White House on Thursday, which includes universal pre-K for 3- and 4-year-old children, subsidized child care, and an extension of the larger child tax credit. It also focuses on climate change, expanding tax credits for clean energy initiatives. I don't want to punish anyone's success. I'm a capitalist. I want everyone to be able to, if they want to be a millionaire or billionaire, to be able to seek their goal. But all I'm asking is, pay your fair share, said Biden. The final bill doesn't include a previously proposed billionaire's tax, paid family and medical leave, or a proposal to allow IRS surveillance of Americans' bank accounts. It also doesn't include any measures to address issues Americans are currently dealing with, such as the supply chain blockage, surging gas prices, or the crisis at the southern border. Economists have said spending trillions of dollars on Biden's social agenda will make the current inflation pressures worse. In the meantime, it's still unclear if this package will gain support from far-left progressives, with Sen. Bernie Sanders saying on Thursday it needs to be improved. Rep. McCarthy, infrastructure and reconciliation no longer separate. Rep. Kevin McCarthy has slammed Democrats for trying to jam their wish list spending bill through Congress. The House Republican leader told reporters on Thursday Democrats had initially proposed 2 separate bills, those being infrastructure and reconciliation. However, the lines are getting increasingly blurred. They have put it into one. It is no longer a single infrastructure bill. This is all viewed as one reconciliation bill as a whole, said McCarthy. McCarthy criticized Joe Biden for not being able to unite his party and for changing his story by the minute. Have you ever seen an administration in Congress as incompetent as this? Trillions of dollars in spending, major expansions of government agencies, and even more inflation that will lead to higher costs for all Americans. Those are all on the table, he stated. Yet, the details change by the minute. McCarthy stressed Democrat spending plans are irresponsible and say it will not receive any GOP support. Exclusive, EU suspends funding to WHO programs in Congo after sex scandal. The European Commission has suspended funding to the World Health Organization's programs in the Democratic Republic of Congo due to concerns over the agency's handling of the sexual abuse scandal. An Oct. 7 letter from the Commission marked sensitive, seen by Reuters, informed the WHO of the immediate suspension of financing for 5 WHO programs, including its Ebola and COVID-19 operations. The total amount is more than €20.7 million. The Commission, in an emailed statement to Reuters in Brussels, confirmed the move, saying that it expected partners to have robust safeguards to prevent such unacceptable incidents as well as to act decisively in such situations. The Commission has temporarily suspended the payments and will refrain from awarding new funding related to the humanitarian activities undertaken by WHO in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. This measure does not affect EU funding for WHO operations elsewhere, it said. WHO officials contacted separately for comment did not immediately reply. The EU funding suspension raises diplomatic pressure on the WHO and its Director General, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, to take further action on the documented violations and management negligence, and to prevent it from happening again anywhere. Tedros, widely believed to be seeking a second 5-year term in May, has steered the global response to COVID-19, the worst public health crisis in a century. But major donors led by the United States and Germany have demanded fundamental reforms to its ability to deal with outbreaks and the scandal. Some 83 aid workers, a quarter of them employed by the WHO, were involved in sexual coercion and abuse during Congo's 10th Ebola epidemic, an independent commission said last month. The report cited 9 allegations of rape. A copy of the EU letter was sent to the Code Blue campaign, part of the AIDS-Free World, a watchdog group that aims to end impunity for sexual offenses committed by civilian and military personnel. The European Commission's letter, addressed to Tedros, voices extreme concern over the magnitude of the findings. It seeks assurances that victims have been protected and compensated, details of whose recruitment process in Congo including background checks, who action to ensure alleged perpetrators are not rehired by the UN or aid groups, and an independent review of individual responsibilities within WHO for the negligence and the treatment of allegations and evidence. In view of the gravity of the reported situation, the Commission hereby suspends all payments relevant to the activities undertaken by your organization in the Democratic Republic of Congo. It reads, the Commission seeks a WHO reply within 30 days and says that Brussels will then take another 30 days to decide whether to resume payments or confirm suspension for up to another 30 days. In the meantime, no new funding will be awarded to the WHO for activities in Congo, it adds. Violent crimes. The WHO last week issued its plan to prevent any further misconduct by aid workers deployed in its field operation, vowing to ensure the scandal would be the catalyst for a profound transformation of WHO's culture. Dr. Gaya Gamhuij, WHO acting director of prevention and response to sexual exploitation, abuse and harassment, told Reuters in an interview this week that more women have reported sexual exploitation and abuse by aid workers during the Ebola crisis from 2018 to 2020. She reiterated that the WHO was referring the rape allegations to national authorities for investigation and said that WHO was sending all 83 case files to investigators in New York for action regarding employees of all agencies. Paula Donovan, co-director of AIDS Free World and its Code Blue campaign, said in a statement this month after the WHO's management response plan was issued that the agency was failing to pursue most perpetrators. This is a giant step backward. The WHO is treating dozens of violent crimes alleged against its own personnel and top officials as simple breaches of rules. If governments allow the UN to get away with this, it will be a solid victory for impunity. The entire process reinforces the bogus notion that personnel and senior officials are above the law, she said. GOP, Biden is responsible for skyrocketing energy costs. Republicans have been taking aim at Joe Biden over his energy policies. Speaking at a press conference on Wednesday, Wyoming Sen. John Barrasso pointed out gas prices have surged much higher than they were when Biden took office. He pointed to Biden's Day One energy policies as the main reason why oil and gas prices have skyrocketed, adding how his administration is seeking help from OPEC and Russia. Gas prices have risen by about 50% since the start of 2021. Republicans also said heading into winter months, the prices for natural gas is sure to rack up astronomical costs for Americans who use gas to heat their homes. They also tackled rising inflation, saying that it goes straight back to Americans who are on fixed incomes and are unable to keep up with rising consumer prices. You have to feel sorry for poor people with fixed incomes, because they don't have the ability. Their wages are not able to keep up with the inflation increase, said Sen. Rick Scott, speaking on the environment, Sen. Barrasso said protecting the environment doesn't mean shortchanging America's economic growth. He added America's carbon emissions have been dropping for years now without destructive economic policies. Blah. Saving ships, law enforcement, in and out from Calif. Mandates and supply chain crisis. They showed defiance when they stood for an individual's right to choose, and now, the West Coast's most popular burger outlet is making an example for the rest of the country. Since In-N-Out announced their stance on vaccine mandates, California has continued to see backlash due to its COVID-19 restrictions. When asked on Wednesday about closing indoor dining at another California location, Gavin Newsom seemingly dodged the reporter's question. I'm not going to get caught up in the situational issues. An In-N-Out Burger is one of our great home-based businesses that has great respect, admiration, and I know that the folks at the headquarters at an In-N-Out Burger and visited them. And we really appreciate it, commented Newsom. Newsom has been a huge advocate for vaccine mandates as California was the first state in the nation to enforce them. But the governor appeared to remain neutral in order to avoid any conflict. The Democrats' COVID-19 priorities were seemingly benched for the day as his priorities shifted to companies threatening to take their business elsewhere. As the supply chain crisis has continued to worsen, dozens of ships in the nation's busiest port complex still remain off the coast of Los Angeles waiting to be unloaded. As of recently, companies are additionally seeing fines for staying past their allotted time in its terminals. However, when Florida Gov. Ron DeSantis heard about the crisis on the West Coast, he immediately encouraged businesses to head their way so they can offer what California isn't. Our ports operate 24/7. I mean, that should be happening anyways. We in Florida have the ability to help alleviate these log jams and help to ameliorate the problems with the supply chain, said DeSantis. Ships from all over are now rerouting to Jacksonville in efforts to stock the shelves for Christmas. Florida's chief financial officer Jimmy Patronis also offered a new home to the California burger chain in a letter to an In-N-Out's president. In addition, Florida's most recent strive to bring resolution to those who may feel stuck involves the governor offering $5,000 to any out-of-state law enforcement officers joining police departments in Florida for the first time.